LegacyMaker, the All Sports Network.
This is it. This is for all the chips. Work for championships. No, it gets no better than this. Just sit and relax a bit. We're talking to pass and blitz. We're talking to jump and switch. We're talking to pitch and miss. Clean space, kick space. You come to the right place. Deep bait. I don't need to see others, so I'm straight. Cause they're not impressing me. I tune into Legacy. Legacy. Fourth and goal and on the road. Legacy. Down 3 seconds to go. Legacy. 2 out, bases loaded. Legacy. It's not a mystery, you're tuning to Legacy. Checkered flag on the final lap. Legacy. 12th round, who gets in the match? Legacy. You want a Legacy. You build a Legacy. Broadcasting live right now so the whole world can see.
Now, the LegacyMaker Sports Podcast.
Welcome, everybody. We about to get this bad boy started.
Here are your hosts, Darrell Owens and Jay Quimby.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 291 of LegacyMaker Sports Podcast here on the LegacyMaker Sports Network. Of course, I'm your man, Darrell Owens, but with me as always, the man, myth, and the absolute legend, Mr. Jeremiah Quimby. What's up, Jay?
Not much, brother. Just another day in the sun.
Another day in the sun. The countdown continues, ladies and gentlemen. We are 19 days away from greatness. So we are 19 days away. My partner in crime here, his lovely wife to be, our correspondent here on work, Miss Becca Cottingham, will be tying the knot. Woo! Get down, yeah. So very excited, man. Congratulations once again, brother. We're so happy. There it is.
Shit.
There you go. We're so happy. Glad to have everybody with us for this. This is going to be a great show. I know it's been weeks. We've been Legacy on Fire. We had a couple weeks off, refresh the mind. We're back here right before all the good stuff happens. We got the combine coming up. That means NFL draft is making its way around the corner. NFL free agency goes to the full swing week. So we're going to talk that today. We got some things to talk about. We're going to get into all of that today. Jay, anything you want to say before we get rolling, brother?
I like chocolate.
Okay, and that's
God bless, and love your people. That's all I can say.
Most definitely. I mean, that's how that's the moniker that we want to love people. Want to go out there. Hope everybody's doing well out there as we enter into the third month of the 2020. So, well, get into it. We got a lot to get into today. We're glad to have you all here with us. Like I said, we're going to talk some things. NFL free agency. We're going to give you 10 of the most notable free agents and where we think we'll go. We're going to get our first top 10 mock draft in the 2020 NFL draft, which is going to be coming here in about a month and a half. We'll talk
Combine starts tomorrow.
Combine starts tomorrow. So we're going to get into all that today. You'll be to the beginning broadcast. Obviously, if you can't catch us now, you'll catch us at 6 o'clock when the replay comes on the air. So let's start off with free agency. Now, free agency is about to get underway here. And, there's free agents out there that me and Jay kind of went over picking where we thought it would be interesting to see where they may go. Because it's going to be the offseason, Jay, you would agree, is just fun all the time. Now it used to be like the NFL free agency, but like the last couple of years has been a whirlwind.
It has. I mean, do you remember the one free agency when Friedman was still a decent quarterback and we signed Vincent Jackson, may rest in peace, and then we signed somebody defensively, and you come running over from pets over to electronics, like, dude, you just signed somebody. I was just like, I gotta go home.
Right. That's all you can think of. That's all you think about. And it was just like, man, it's crazy because now it's just like free agency and off season. It's just big as the regular season in football. Yes, we have 28 weeks before football starts back, which makes me cry. 28 weeks for the regular season. I guess you would say 24, 25 for the preseason.
Now, don't forget, Fox has got the USFL coming back.
The USFL?
April 16th.
Yes, so we'll get some football. Some football there. Yeah, I did. Now, you have to. We were talking about that a little bit, and then we're going to talk about that really a lot more on Legacy of Fire this week, which will be on say at 8:15. But I don't know if I have a team yet in the with the league like a lot of people go to a team that's winning, and so I don't know how that's going to go. So right now, Carolina obviously with the ties, it'll be something. I think he went to what Pittsburgh, the Maulers.
Yeah.
Those jerseys are ugly. They're not as ugly as the Michigan Panthers. Those Michigan Panthers jerseys, them they said trash. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that on Wednesday.
Double trash.
All right, so let's get into it. We got 10 notable free agents. We got to start with, I guess, and everybody has the prize of free agency, Devonta Adams. I'm not in it because you see the green in the back. All the other reports have it as well. So just think I'm being biased.
Dude, you are echoing so bad. I don't know if you have the volume up on the mic too loud or if it's feeding back through, but it's bad. Even Corey said.
All right, I'm gonna go for it. I'm just gonna take the mic up. If I find the piece, we're gonna take the mic, y'all, and then
smash that son bitch. I can't hear you at all, but I'm not echoing now.
What about now? You hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Am I loud or echoing?
You're good volume, no echoing.
All right, well, let's go from there. All right, so with all that fun stuff being said, let's start out with Devonta Adams. Devonta Adams obviously going to be a big free agent here. Packers are trying to keep him, but where do you think Devonta Adams ends up in all of this hush and fuss?
For me, honestly, he'll either be franchised by y'all. Hey, Becca, how you doing, girl? What up? Give me a call. But if they don't keep him and franchise him, I see him going and, say Aaron Rodgers actually retires. I see him going to the Raiders, teaming back up with Derek Carr and doing some very dirty things to the AFC West.
I guess we're right on the same page there because for me, I got the same thing happening here. My philosophy on this, it doesn't sound back with me bad. I got a heart of hearts thing that if they think they got Aaron Rodgers back, they're going to franchise tag Devonta until they can figure out that situation and get him there. So, of course, for me, I want him to go back to the green and gold, but it makes sense. And a lot of people have been screaming if Carr goes back, obviously, and gets situated there in Oakland, in Vegas. I knew it was going to happen. In Vegas, then I see him going there. But the other thing is, it's hard because I know a lot of other teams would want his services, but supposedly he's the highest, the ranking for receiver right now is what, 28 million. He's looking for 30. And if that's the case, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, where can he go where they would pay him, and I think he's going to want to go to a good quarterback. He doesn't want to just go to anybody. I mean, he doesn't want to go to anybody. I'm pretty sure he wants to win.
Well, but if you look, I can't really say he was the prize wide receiver of the free agency class last year, but he was the best available, and that was Kenny Golladay. And he scored 0 touchdowns, and
0.
He's making more combined money than everybody in the WNBA,
which is crazy to me. I saw that post. I saw that post yesterday, and I said, "This is crazy." My man did nothing last year, not a little bit, nothing. And he made more money than a WNBA player.
He couldn't score with a blind hooker.
Touche, homie. Touche, homie. I couldn't.
He was bad.
It's bad. So for me, Devonta, probably he deserves the money. I mean, he's been phenomenal. If the only other place I think he would go, because it's hard nowadays with the way quarterbacks, there's a couple of young guns out there.
Wow.
I don't know if the Chargers have the money, but I feel like he would go to a place where they have a young gun at quarterback or somebody that has a chance to win now.
If you look at the 2004 draft class, we're going to possibly say is one of the best quarterback drafts ever.
Right.
The 2014 draft class has got wide receivers coming out at the wazoo, bro.
Right.
that will be Hall of Famers.
Got the Odell, Mike Evans, Devontae. It was a really good receiver draft. It was a really good receiver draft.
The Bills moved up to get Sammy Watkins, and then Landry was in there, I believe.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, they had, and it's crazy. Like, if not like top tier receivers, really good, like long, like receivers that have been in the league for at least 7-8 years now.
A hot minute.
Yeah, so they've been in the league for a while. So I'm intrigued, but I think if he's not a Packer, he ends up being a Raider in that one. Next one, we swing to Tampa Bay, probably the second best guy in the draft class. I'm not just saying that because Jay's a Buccaneers fan, but a lot of people have that, and that's Chris Godwin. A lot of people are leaning towards maybe staying with Tampa Bay, but Jay, what are your thoughts on Chris Godwin and what happened?
The reports I've been hearing, they called him a cornerstone of the franchise. If they can't get a long-term deal worked out with him, they're going to franchise him. They'll throw a tag on him. They'll pay him. He's coming off the torn MCL, which 5-6 years ago, that was you're no longer the same. Now it's completely different. It'll be great. He'll be fine. I would love to get him back, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I have him staying as well. But I guess the question at hand is, where does he go in your mind if he's not there? Where does he go?
The Eagles.
God don't do it. Well, yeah. The Eagles probably have the money. The Eagles probably have the money.
But you know why I say that?
Why?
Where'd he go to college?
Penn State.
Yep.
Right.
And so, I mean, I could see him going to the Eagles. I mean, you think everybody can use a wide receiver like him. He is one of those very precise route runners with great hands and the ability to get open. I mean, you could say, the Jets might be the team to throw the most money at him.
Right.
But knowing Godwin as a player and a person, it's for him, it's situation. It's not money.
Yeah, after winning that championship last year, I'm pretty sure he wants to stay in a situation where he wants to, continue to win. So it'll be a fun one for me, but I still think he stays in Tampa. Next one, Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones has been a big name out there for the last couple of years. He's been a Pro Bowler, been one of the best defensive players in the NFL. Where do you see Chandler Jones going?
Lamont, this is for you. The Broncos. They need pass rush. Chandler Jones, they thought, you would see a decline, but he has just been steady. So I see him going. That is a great scheme for him there. And plus, he knows their new head coach.
See, my whole thing with this was, and I thought about that. I know Lamar would be happy about that, especially the way this Broncos team is actually really talented on the defensive side of the ball. The problem last year was they couldn't figure out, Teddy B had some good moments, but he got hurt. And when he got hurt, that first time he got hurt, it kind of derailed the season for him. They were 4-0 at one point.
Yep.
And they were looking pretty good. Then they lost 4 in a row. They were 3-0 at one point. Then they lost 3 in a row. And then it just was on and off from that point. It still had a chance to make the playoffs towards the end. So, that'll be intriguing. But for me, and then this is just a wild card, and I just kind of threw it in there. I went with the Raiders only because of Josh McDaniel. I would have said New England only maybe they, because there are times we've seen Bill Belichick, mend fences with people. I don't know if Chandler Jones is going to be that guy or not, but he has mend fences with people, and they went back there.
But I don't really like the idea of him going to the Raiders because you already got a guy there in Crosby. That is amazing, and you trade away one of the best pass rushers of a generation.
True.
So I just don't see that being, and they took he was the 3rd pick overall in Farrell, and he has been a bust to this point.
Right.
I don't see it. Arden Key was there too, and now he's a very, very good pass rusher, free agent that just left the 49ers.
No, you also got to remember, though, this is under the John Gruden regime. And so things are. I don't know how much different they're gonna be under Josh McDaniels. I mean,
McDaniels is very much an offensive guy. If you look at what he did the last time that when he was in Denver, he didn't give two flying shits about the defense. I mean,
yeah, that's true too. They started off 6-0. They started off 6-0, and then it fell off the wheels.
Yeah, and I mean that defense has got good building blocks as far as secondary. They've got a couple of good defensive linemen. But that linebacker core needs something to give him a boost.
We'll see where Chandler Jones will land. Next one, we got Von Miller. Von Miller coming fresh off of his second Super Bowl championship with the Rams. Now, I did hear a little bit of retirement rumbles from Von Miller, which I think that's a strong possibility in this situation. But if Von does decide to stay in the NFL, where do you see Von heading?
He's going into his 11th year. He's 33, just a year older. But, his production really fell off until he got traded. Like, he was nowhere.
Right.
And, he got his ring, his second ring, by the way. And he looked good in the playoffs. He was doing everything. So if he does anything, he's going back to the Rams.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see him leaving because I think they've kind of, the Rams have, they went all in. They went all in to get this Super Bowl championship. We know Odell wants to try to come back.
They don't got a draft pick until 2027.
Yeah, but I mean, and we've laughed. You know what? We all laughed about it. I'm still laughing about it because it's like you mortgage your future for, but you want a ring. It's like
it's the era that we live in now of self-gratification. Right. You want anything, it's at the palm of your hand.
Right.
You want food, you can order it. It'll be here in 20 minutes. You want to order something, Amazon's bringing it. And it's very much what you're seeing in football and hell, even in basketball. Super teams, they're building them. And Snead and McVay have kind of laid out what you got to give up to build that super team.
Right. I agree. I mean, and I wouldn't be surprised to see more NFL teams maybe take that route. The draft has always been, some people, they build their franchises around that. The Packers are one of them. Pittsburgh has always been, they do, sign people here and there, but Pittsburgh has always been one of those teams that have been able to build through the draft. There's just a couple of franchises that just know how to build through the draft. So, for me, maybe for the Rams, it was like, we're in LA, it's that high dollar. We got to do what we got to do to win. Now we got to be relevant in a town where you got the Lakers, and you got to
the Dodgers,
and you got to compete. Football is the number one sport in America. You got to find a way to compete, and they did that this year. But now let's see if they can keep that going. Next one, J.C. Jackson. Now J.C. Jackson is interesting because he's still a little heartbroken here because Bill Belichick ain't pick up the phone and give him a call. And he was like, he hasn't heard anything from New England about even attempting to bring him back. But he had an amazing season last season. I know where I think he probably should go. But where do you think he should go, Jay?
Well, I know it's weird for me to be saying this, but I think he stays in New England. I think for once they pay somebody because Belichick, that defense that he runs off of having a shutdown corner. And Jackson is a shutdown corner. I'm not saying he's better than, Gilmore because Gilmore is still great.
Right.
But I think he stays there. I think they actually finally pay a player.
Yeah, I think, Gilmore is another one of those guys that's a free agent this year. He'll be interesting to see where he goes. Made the Pro Bowl there in Carolina. And so he's still very productive. And whoever gets him will be.
It's because the defense was always on the field. He had to do something.
Touche, homie. Touche. I actually have him going to I have a couple places in mind. Obviously, you want to keep the New England connection involved. I probably would have said
Raiders.
I would have said the Dolphins if Flores was still there. But they don't really need him per se.
Wow.
But the team that needs him probably the most are the Eagles. and the Eagles have the money. But the Titans were also a team that I kind of thought about because of, Vrabel being there, and a lot of New England players have slowly drifted into that,
Logan Ryan went there and switched over to free safety.
Right.
I could see that. But, I mean, if Flores was still in Miami, could you imagine Jackson on one side, Howard on the other?
Woo! Woo!
The two guys besides Diggs,
it could be dangerous.
That they're just picking machines, man.
Exactly. That's why I was like, that's why I was kind of vibing. But I know how bad the Eagles need secondary help, and then if they want to compete in the East, and they want to continue to grow with the team they have, they're going to have to definitely address that position. Next one, last year we kind of talked about this guy too. And, maybe not as good of a season as he would like to have had being on that franchise tag in Chicago, but that's Allen Robinson. I still think Allen Robinson can be extremely productive, but when you saw what happened in Chicago last year with 3 different quarterbacks coming in, you got a rookie who's got a lot of potential, but y'all just never really connected. You got Nick Foles, who, is Nick Foles. And then you got Andy Dalton, who had, flashes here and there. But nevertheless, that whole team just had a lot going on. Allen Robinson, I don't see him staying in Chicago, Jay, but where do you see him going?
Dolphins. I think he would be a very good offset piece to Waddle. Let's be honest. Parker's always hurt.
Always hurt. My man is nicked up all the time.
Allen, plays very similar to him, but I could see the Dolphins shelling out the money to bring him down there, and him doing what he does down there. I don't see anything wrong with that. It's either there or the Texans.
I was thinking hard about this one, but I still had the same answer I had last year, and that's the Commanders. Washington football team then. But the reason why I say the Commanders is because they need a strong number 2. And this has been documented for a while. McLaurin is amazing, and even with the quarterback situation being a little bit murky. But I feel like if you're the Commanders, you need to kind of make a splash this offseason. We've talked about this before. They have to find a way. Because, they've got, a defense that should have been really good last year. That should have been really good on paper last year. And then, they just need a really strong number 2. Obviously in some circles, Robinson's a number 1. But if you put him and McLaurin together with, a Humphreys, and then they get a solid quarterback, this team, we're talking about a team that can make some real noise. And we've been saying that not just because we cover them, but it's true. They have a defense and they can get things going together. You get Chase Young back. Who knows?
The thing the Commanders got to do, and this is their weakness, is Collins has got to go. Collins is not the answer. He hasn't been good. He was all right with the Giants for 1 or 2 seasons, but since he's been in Washington, he's supposed to be the guy back there calling the schemes and change up here. You do that, and it's been terrible.
Yeah.
So he's got to go.
They tried to move him to linebacker, and I don't think he liked that too hot. But when you go back and look at it, the Washington franchise has had miserable luck with signing big free agents. And this has been going on for a long time.
Albert Hainsworth was there.
Yep. What was that?
Albert Hainsworth. They signed Dion to that crazy contract. He was way past his prime at that point. He was not prime time anymore. It was prime for him to leave. It was at that point. They traded Champ Bailey for Clinton Portis. And I'm not saying anything bad about Portis.
No. But you traded a Hall of Famer for a guy who was a really solid player and a really good player. So I don't want to trash that, but you gave up a Hall of Famer for him. Yes. And yes, Portis is loved in the Washington area, but it's still, if you go back and look at it, it's like they've had the worst luck with signing just signing big name guys. So I don't know. We'll see what.
And there's still more to come out because the Dan Snyder thing. I have a feeling when the season begins to start, he will not be the owner of the team.
Yeah, between him and Stephen Ross, because if they give Ross the punishment, I think they might give him in Miami. We may be 2 less owners before the season starts. But if you're the NFL, you've got to find a way to get this, because you can't get rid of one and not the other, especially if was said by Ross.
The
Arlington situations are completely different, but what Ross did is that he hurt the integrity of the game. You can't tell a coach, hey, I'm going to give you $100,000 to lose games. Each game you lose or whatever. That's crazy stuff.
Well, the Lions did it. But you're not going to kick one of the forwards out and say you got to sell your team. The other thing is Jerry Jones has got accusations against him again.
Yeah, but Jerry's definitely not going anywhere. Jerry means way too much. Between him and Kraft, they mean way too much to the league. Snyder, I think you can get rid of, and it's not going to be that big of a deal because the Washington football team / Commanders. It's going to take a while to get used to that. The Commanders they're like one of the top franchises in the world money wise. So like if Bezos decides to take it over or whoever they get in there, I heard Byron Allen trying to buy the Broncos. It's just like it's going to be highly sought after. And once that goes down, next one, we got 4 more before we move on here. Jesse Bates for the Bengals, top-notch safety in the league.
He didn't have a good season, but he had great playoff. I see him getting franchised. I really do. They're going to tag him. He is the best player. Portis, Josh Norman. You're absolutely right.
Exactly, 100%.
But I really see him staying. He is that secondary. Azuzaway or whatever you say, the Cowboy pickup. He did decent. Eli Apple doesn't know shit. I mean, he's from
Eli
here.
might not be on the team next year, man. He gonna be playing in USFL, bro.
Well,
USFL next year.
If you look at with the Bengals, they're scraping the bottom of the barrel because Hargraves wasn't even on their active roster and still ran out and got a fine. And we're talking about a guy that was a first-round pick at one point.
Yep, top 10 pick. He was a top 10 pick a couple years ago. I got him staying. I got him staying with the Bengals. I don't see him going anywhere. I think they'll try to figure something out to get him to stay there. Next one, we got Mike Williams. Mike Williams, another Clemson receiver that we've seen do well. Had his moments over the couple of years. Injuries kind of, nick him up here and there. But it's another guy who's going to be highly sought after. A guy who can come in and if he's healthy and help out a receiving core. Where do you see him going?
Cardinals. AJ Green was on a 1-year deal. Mm-hmm. It's time for him to hang him up. He's going to be done. Could you imagine Mike Williams on one side, D-Hop on the other? I know D-Hop's a bit long in the tooth, but he's still got it.
Yeah, once because D-Hop's going to come back next year completely healthy. At least he should be. So they're going to be fine. If they can figure out the Kyler situation, and it looks like, he just wants a long-term deal, which we talked about a couple weeks ago on Legacy on Fire. He just wants a long-term deal. All of this hush and fuss just for that. But that's pretty much what he wanted there. For me, in his mind, I don't know if this is wild or not, but I got the Colts. And the reason why I said the Colts is because let's look at the receiving core there. Pittman is solid. But he's a number 2.
T.Y. is always hurt.
T.Y. is a free agent. He's always hurt. Then you look at what's my man's name? They got Pascal there. They don't really have that guy that and Williams is not over the top amazing. But my biggest thing was Frank White's connection to the Chargers organization. I didn't know if that would help bring him in.
I agree, but you look at this upcoming draft. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the deepest wide receiver drafts I've seen in a long, long time.
Yes, this should be a really good receiver draft. And I think a lot of people, let's just hope Green Bay doesn't do what they did a couple years ago when they had a really good deep receiver draft and actually draft a receiver. That would be nice. We passed up on Justin Jefferson, and I could go. I'm not even gonna get. Let's go ahead and switch. Next one, Mike Goseki. I didn't even know he's been in the league this long to be a free agent, but he's there. But he's really come along in the last couple of years for that Miami team.
You know how much I loved him coming out of Penn.
Right.
I just loved his ability. He's got he don't got the jets. He's a big guy. He's got great hands, and I really think he stays with the Dolphins. I mean, he is one of those guys that I believe might stay loyal and be there. If he doesn't stay with the Dolphins, he possibly could end up staying in Florida and going to Tampa Bay. I'd be.
What? That ain't even more serious. They don't need no more tight ends. Well, I know Gronk. We don't know if Gronk's coming back.
Gronk and OJ are both free agents. That leaves us with Brait. That's it.
Yeah, so it's not too far-fetched. So we don't know exactly where we go on that. For me, this was my team. Now, the reason why I say this one is because they just don't have a really good tight end, and that's the Tennessee Titans. Can you name the Tennessee Titans tight end? Look, I guess my man, I got to give Rob Johnson credit because he agreed with me on this one. Touche, Rob. For me, they just don't have a tight end there. They got like Adam Fleckler, some other guy. I can't even think.
What happened to Cook? Where'd he go? I'm kidding. I know where he
went. Shoot. You had me look. I'm over here looking like, where's Cook at now? Yeah, Cook's in the Chargers, with the Chargers now. So I had to think about it. I'm still mad because he should have been in Green Bay, but that's another story for another day. Another reason why Aaron was mad.
Is your boy coming back again?
Which one?
Mercedes Lewis.
I think Mercedes will probably be back because Mercedes will sign a $1 deal and he'll be back. He just likes to be, I'm pretty sure he'll be back unless he decides to retire. He'll sign a $1 deal to come back.
He's older than I am, bro.
$1 deal to come back. Just a $1 deal, nothing more than that. But yeah, Mercedes is a huge part, and Aaron is a huge Mercedes Lewis fan. All right, our last one when we finish with a buck at hand here in Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette is a free agent. I'm pretty sure the Bucs will probably want him back, but we saw what Keyshawn Vaughn had a really good last part of the season and into the playoffs. He had some decent moments there. I don't know if he's Fournette good, but what are your thoughts on that? Where does Fournette go on this match?
As much as I would love to have him back with the Buccaneers, I thought about the Texans, but they have like 4 former Pro Bowlers on their roster. Denver.
Gordon is gone. They do have Williams, but if you have Williams and Fournette together, sheesh, that would be something.
Denver has got the money, and they're always bringing new. I mean, could you imagine? Just saying.
It would be crazy. But Denver's always been one of those places that you can go and run the ball, and he would be absolutely like they always find running backs. You know how some organizations just find, like Green Bay's always been able, even though it has been a little bit rough lately, they've always been able to find receivers.
Yeah, right.
So Pittsburgh has always been able to find running backs. Denver's always been able to find running backs. So for me though, I got Fournette heading to Miami, because they need a running back in the worst way, and he would be the prime guy there if they brought him in. Miami just doesn't have a running game. I don't know how they survived or won as many games they did in the last season, or being able to make the move that they did. They need a running back in the worst way, and to bring him in to give to somebody that can bang around there, I got for Miami.
Could you imagine though, just Leonard Fournette in that run blocking scheme that Shanahan does?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh my goodness. Ooh, you know how dangerous we would be? Don't let him go to San Fran. Woo, I would be nervous.
See him in the Washington. Washington, I agree with Rob. That wouldn't be bad, but I have no respect for what they did to AP. AP come in and
AP saved them. AP saved them.
Did your thing, and then you just say deuces.
Exactly.
I mean, that's dirty.
Real dirty. So that is our top 10, or at least our top 10 notable free agents. We'll probably be doing more as we come back over the next couple of weeks. We always, as the free agency kicks in, we'll start be making a little bit more predictions on those guys who are left. Now, next we're going to go through our top 10 NFL mock draft here. This is me and Jay's favorite thing. We love talking draft. We got our draft show coming up in about a month and a half, so be on the lookout for that here.
I'm pumped with Rob watching this because I want to hear him give me shit for who I picked. But Rob, it's hard for me to analyze people without having combine numbers beside it.
Yeah, it is a little bit tough, but we're gonna. This first that one is kind of off a limb here for me and Jay. So don't put too much bank in this. This is just our first initial thoughts as the as the season gets a little bit deeper, as we see the combine, as things go. Me and Jay get a little bit more going on that. So Jay, first pick, who do you have?
Jacksonville's got to protect the quarterback, so they're going offensive tackle. And I went Akeem Ikiwano, the NC State guy. It's somebody that wasn't that far away for them to go scout. Everybody really has faith in the Alabama tackle. I don't trust Alabama tackles because Leatherwood and then Andre, what is his name? Oh, the dude the Bengals took in the first round, and he ended up, you know who I'm talking about, though.
Andre Smith. Yeah.
And then the two brothers that we talked about earlier. No, I don't.
The mountain guys, College of Ojo. Yeah. I can destroy names.
I just don't got faith in that. So for me, I really, you watch his tape, he's solid, very versatile. Love him.
Yeah, I'm going with Neil. And yes, I know the Alabama, train hasn't been good, but they've got to find somebody here. And the kid is extremely impressive. I just hope he breaks the mold here. But no matter what happens here, and I think me and Jay both will agree, you've got to protect Trevor Lawrence. We see Lawrence had some moments last year when he's over here running for his life, but he still can make plays. Just imagine if you protect him just a little bit more. And I feel like it's very important for Jacksonville to build that offensive line in this draft, and then maybe in the next two drafts. It's a really good offensive line draft, Jay.
Absolutely. And then you get ETN back.
Right.
There's so much potential, but potential is only what you do with it.
Exactly. I don't expect Jacksonville to make the playoffs or nothing next year, and then watch they make the playoffs because I said that. But I expect them to get better. Doug Peterson is no slouch head coach. Yes, he had a little bit of in Philly, but I really do think that he's going to help him grow. Will he get him to his fullest potential? I'm not going to say that, but I think he will help him grow. Next one, Detroit. I got Aiden Hutchinson on this one. Where do you go?
I go Aiden Hutchinson too because of the fact, hometown or home state kid. This man's got a motor that does not stop. I was very impressed in the ass whooping he provided Ohio State. I just kept looking and we couldn't stop him. We were double teaming him. We were double teaming him and chipping him, and he was still getting to the quarterback. I love this guy. If I could get him in Tampa, I would say trade this year and next year just to get him. Love him.
Yeah, for me, I'm definitely sticking, like I said, with Hutchinson, just the guy, and it just makes sense for I guess you can say area standpoint. Michigan guy, and I think he will help put some butts in the seats.
Detroit, yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, you see my brother. Detroit will take whoever can help them lose.
And then LT says, "Oh, okay. Now that's getting
ass whooping he gave Ohio State. It's 100%. I won't deny it, but we'll see what happens next year. Okay, bro?
Yeah, we'll see. There was the endangerment of losing Harbaugh, but
would you like to make a bet?
Don't do it. Don't do it, LT. Don't do it. Take it from a guy who knows it's not the right move. It's not the right move. Next one. The Houston Texans actually have a draft pick, Jay. Oh, my God. And the last couple of years, they haven't had a first-round draft pick because they were just giving the Miami Dolphins all their picks for whatever weird reason. And now they actually have a pick at number 3. Where do you go?
Now, this one, I was disappointed because we didn't get to see him, but I went with Kyle Hamilton.
Me too.
He will be the highest drafted safety since Sean Taylor, and he plays with that passion and that love that Taylor had, and I cannot wait to watch him play in the NFL on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, me and Jay a little disappointed, but we went up to that UVA Notre Dame game, and we were like, yeah, Kyle Hamilton, and he didn't play, and I was like, boo. But it's all good, though. We did get to see the great running back from Notre Dame really have
Williams.
Williams had a really good game in that one. But for me, like I said, I like Kyle Hamilton. What I've seen on tape, the kid has a lot of talent, and I just hope that they're able to bring that up there in Detroit.
He's got the build.
Not Detroit, I meant to say Houston.
If I remember right, yeah, I mean 6'4", and we got to see what he runs in the combine. But I'll say he runs a 4.44.
Yeah,
easily.
He'll be great in a Lovie Smith defense. I think. I think Lovie will be able to help him grow. You know, I mean, and hopefully it's not in a Lovie Smith defense, but he's great in any defense. So we'll see.
Yeah, that Tampa too. Just look for them holes. Oh Jesus!
All day, right? He's gonna have to be killing it out there. So next we got the Jets. And I went with Jay. Jay went with his pick, and with the first pick, I went Uwe. I'm gonna destroy that. But the North Carolina State guy, I went with him.
Yeah.
They gotta protect Mr. Wilson, man. It just has to happen.
I flipped with you because I went with Neal, the offensive tackle there. They definitely gotta help Wilson. Defensively, the way he works his defense, he could bring in third, fourth, and fifth rounders and still find gems. I mean, he's the guy that told them to draft get Pete Warner, and then the gentleman that retired, I can never remember his name, was on a all pro level out there in for the 49ers. So
Willis.
Borland,
Chris Borland. Yeah, Chris Borland.
Yep. And I mean another 5th round pick. So I believe that this is the way to go.
All right. Next we got the New York Football Giants, the first of 2 top 10 picks. And I know Jay does not. I know Jay's not high on this guy, and this may just work against the Giants' favor. But I got Kayvon Thibodeau. I know it's Fritz.
Thibodeau, and I got him. I got the same pick because for me, if you watch him on tape, he'll give you everything you got on one, and then take 2 snaps off. You can't play that way, especially when you got the talent this guy's got.
Right.
He was the 5-star #1 recruit a couple years ago in the nation, and he doesn't got the passion for the game. And so I don't like him at all.
Yeah, it makes me a little bit worried too, on how you play. But like I said, I mean, if he goes there and plays great in New York, then they will get the fine of a lifetime. Next one, number 6, the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, now we both agree the Panthers need a lot of shit.
Yes.
I could see them possibly trading McCaffrey to the Eagles or the Jets for one of the first-round picks that they got this year. Mm-hmm. Because they have so many needs. I went with Charles Cross, the offensive tackle, I believe, out of Ole Miss. And just because they still need to set that lineup, I still honestly believe that Jones is a good quarterback. You just got to put stuff around him besides Kenny Galladay.
God, I know, man, they wasted money. Good Lord, you talking about wasting money. I knew it was a bad idea from the get-go. I'm like, Kenny Galladay, he was always nicked up in Detroit. And I was like, this is just not the move.
And he didn't score 1 TD.
TD. All that money. They paid, he's the highest paid receiver in the league. And you don't score a touchdown? Shh. Nope. Yeah. So for me, Carolina, I actually went quarterback here. I went with Kenny Pickett. I got a feeling that unless somebody moves up, because quarterback, even though when the quarterback draft is not that good, teams are willing to always take a leap, hoping that quarterback comes out to be whoever. And I think that Kenny Pickett will be the first one off the board. If it stays the way it is, I think Carolina will be the one to grab him. I know Carolina they've got to figure out the quarterback future. Cam is technically there, but not there. He'll be a free agent. I think they can I don't know if they sign him back or not. Sam Darnold actually is still in that mix. So it's like, do you think you can win with one of those guys at the point that they are in their career? Right. And it's one of those things where you got to take a leap. I think they will do it.
I think they would be better off getting like the BYU quarterback Carson Strong in the 2nd round. Mm-hmm. Great arm talent, high expectation guy. I really like him, and I think he would set or really work in rule system. But again, protection.
Yeah, they're going to need it. They're another team that they're going to have to load up on that offensive line. Next, we got the Giants at 7. I went Charles Cross this time because they just haven't been able to figure that line out, and they've tried. Let's get that straight. They have tried. It's not like the Giants have not tried to fix that line. They have signed, they had Nate Soldier come in. They got the, Hernandez kid a couple of years ago. They got Smith in the draft last year. They've done everything they can. And it doesn't hurt to keep trying to figure it out. So I'm going with Cross here at number 7.
I went with Trevor Penny, the North Dakota State guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a monster. He really reminds me of like Quentin, the guy that the Bengals got last year, or not the Bengals, the Broncos, that wore his shirt up over his belly during the,
yeah.
or an Ali Marpet type of player where, he is very much a grinder. He's a tackle. I could see him playing tackle and or guard for them. He's got a mean streak that you don't want to see.
Okay. All right. So we both go offensive line there for the Giants. Next, the Atlanta Falcons at 8.
God, they need everything. Matt Ryan, the highest paid football player in the league this year. That just don't make any sense.
This past season, that's right, because Mahomes' money doesn't kick in until this year.
Yeah.
So yeah. Wow. That's crazy when you say it out loud.
You really want them to grab somebody. I believe they'll make a mistake and they won't re-sign Cordell Patterson.
Yes, that's gonna be a big mistake.
You want to go defensive end, but I don't see an edge rusher that's still top 10 worthy yet.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I went with Jamison Williams, the wide receiver from Alabama.
Yeah,
Calvin Ridley. I don't.
That's actually, you know what, Jay? Now that you said, I wish I would have went receiver here. I did not. That didn't click. But yeah, with the Ridley situation, I should have went receiver. Should have went receiver. I went with Jermaine Johnson, who's a good player, and then they do need an edge guy. But like you said, Jay, it could be a leap, and I knew I was taking a leap by moving him into that top 10. But some teams tend to do that. But now that you say that, Jay, now that you say that, receiver might even with Ridley. Even if Ridley stayed, receiver probably would be a really good pick here, regardless of the situation.
Well, and if you look, with what they got going on there, there's needs everywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if they draft or grabbed a quarterback here, just to put behind them, because this team is in disfuck ever since they lost that Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's been weird. It's been a weird vibe in Atlanta since they lost that Super Bowl. Good night. They were this close. The next one, the Denver Broncos. Where do you got Denver going?
Everybody knows the Denver is going to go after a quarterback.
Oh yeah, if they can't get Aaron Rodgers, this is definitely going to be a quarterback. This is no brainer.
The problem is John Elway. They need to move John Elway out of the front office. He's a legend. He did everything he could on the field. He fixed the fax machine. Congratulations. I just don't like him making the decisions because he's always quarterback in love, and it's dumb. But I got them going Kenny Pickett here. Yeah.
If Pickett was still on the board, I would go Pickett. I actually went with Malik Willis. And I don't. Like I said, him. I probably would have went with Matt Corral in this situation. But I'm still a little bit weary with the injuries that he had towards the end of the season. I know somebody's still going to draft him anyway. I think he gets drafted by a team that is not in a quick need for a quarterback, but maybe looking at the end at a quarterback's career. So maybe in Atlanta would be a team that may draft a Corral. Maybe not now, but if it does happen in sometime in the draft. But I think he gets drafted by one of those teams because that injury towards it was a little bit rough.
The injury was rough, but for Corral, it's the measurements.
Yeah.
Because he is very close to the Drew Brees, Ian Book type of height. But he moves better than both of them. Right. So he does have that difference. So definitely height will play against him. If he goes in the first round, it'll be later, much later.
Yeah, I like I said, to me, it goes to a team that is maybe not on the rebound or looking for a quarterback immediately. Or maybe
Vikings.
It could be like a potential you're the next man up if things don't go well this season type of thing. So we'll see. And last but not least, on number 10, Jets with their second pick in the top 10. I went with Derek Stingley Jr. because they need a cornerback. So I went with Stingley Jr. there. Who you got going on?
I went the same. They need quarterback. They got our guy from Virginia that we absolutely loved in Bryce Hall, and he played amazingly. PFF had him as a top 10 corner last year. He didn't have the INTs, but he wasn't giving up the big plays. So but Stingley, like I told you, freshman year, this guy would have been a top 3 pick. And then he kept getting hurt. Things kept happening. Yeah, it just changed up on him, Yes.
But I mean, if the way that Bryce Hall has come along with the Jets team, and if he goes to the Jets, I think this could be the place that we can kind of get him back. Because he's a good defensive guy. He's proven that. So we'll see.
Because if it's not Stingley Jr. here, it'll be Gardner. Because Gardner's giant, 6'2".
Yeah.
180.
Big boy. He's a big boy. All right, everybody. That's me and Jay's top 10 NFL mock draft here as we continue to go through our top stories. The next one we got on the list, we got to talk about this guy right here. He's been in everybody's mouth lately. The Aaron Rodgers contract situation, or just Aaron Rodgers in general. What's happening to Aaron Rodgers here? The word on the street is Aaron wants $50 million a year. And then you hear like Pat McAfee come out and say this is not true, and Aaron has never indicated that he wanted that much money, at least. And they do hang out and talk a lot. They talk every week on this podcast. It's like a Tuesday slot where Aaron Rodgers comes in and has a conversation. If you've been living under a rock and haven't watched the Pat McAfee or listened to the Pat McAfee podcast. So, knowing that situation, Jay, do you really think he wants $50 million, or do you think that this is just, rumors?
I think it's rumors. I mean, he does want them to say, we want a long term. You're our future, Right. But the Jordan Love thing kind of threw the wrench in there. We're playing the waiting game. He could retire and be perfectly happy, or go to Denver or someplace like that. We don't know. It's still up in the air. There's too much what ifs.
Yeah, for me, I you know how I feel about this. I mean, I want him to come back, but I also don't want to cripple the team. I feel like if we spend him too much money and we can't sign anybody back, there's no need to have him back for the next couple of years, and then we can't compete. I mean, if he's there playing for a team that's 5-12, or what is that going to do? Now, obviously, Aaron Rodgers doesn't happen. Well, at least from what we've seen, that doesn't happen, but maybe like once or twice in his career since he's been the quarterback there. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't think he, like I told you, and I know you know this, the only way that the Packers can continue to win is if Aaron takes less money. And they have to take less money to bring everybody back and to be able to bring people in. So it really all depends on if he really, truly wants to stay, or if he really, truly wants to retire. I think he either retires or stays. I don't think he goes anywhere else. That's just my personal opinion.
Bakhtiari's tweet kind of fed a little fuel to that fire about him going somewhere else, though.
Right. Because
he took a pay cut, renegotiated his contract.
Right.
But nothing from Aaron. And these guys are tight.
Yeah, so Bakhtiari took less money. Chandler Jones took less money. And Kenny Clark also went and readjusted his contract to help the Packers get some space in there. So they're trying to do what they can. They got two of the best players. It's not often you can say you got the best quarterback and the best receiver on your team. And then you got to try to figure out a way to keep them. I know a lot of other people would say different about that, but we'll see how the Aaron Rodgers situation goes here in the next one. Now, last one on top stories, Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman could be heading to ESPN. That's the big rumor. Leaving Fox, I mean, pretty much, and let's be honest, Troy Aikman has probably been at Fox our whole adult life. And him and Joe Buck have been the voice of Fox. A lot of people hate Joe Buck, and I don't maybe it's just me, as a guy who just truly loves play-by-play. And people really trash Joe Buck. And I don't think Joe Buck, I'm probably get yelled at for even saying, I don't think Joe Buck is as bad as people say, but they just, They just hate Joe Buck.
I don't mind Joe Buck at all, but the thing that drives me crazy is his hair is fucked.
Yeah,
bro, you going bald, just let it happen. That's
let
nature.
Let it flow.
And then Beck and I were talking about this. You saw Breeze sitting there on the panel during the Super Bowl. Man, his hair looks like shit too. I mean, come on, guys.
Hey, man, it's helmet hair, bro. It's helmet hair. I mean, that's just what happens when you sitting under the helmet chilling.
But for me, it's a great move by ESPN. But then you got to sit there and scratch your head and be like, what the hell is up with all these desperado quarterbacks becoming commentators?
Because that's the way of the law of the land. Like Dak Prescott already has a career made out for him. Because that's all it takes is you just have to have played quarterback for the Dallas and have success. Let me clarify. Have at least some success as a Dallas quarterback, and you can get a job in television.
But for me, the one I cannot stand Romo at all. Just I know he knows what's going on.
I love Romo. I think he found his niche. I mean, sometimes as he's gotten into it, his voice is just a little bit weird. But besides that, I do like how he breaks down the game, though. That's the part I like about it the most. But his voice is like, "Hey guys," and it just starts going. But it's so funny to me. But I mean, if he goes to ESPN,
it would be great for ESPN as long as they put the right person beside him. But then there's talk that Kirk Herbstreit is coming to replace, and yes, he went to Ohio State, but he's another person I just want to smack sometimes.
Yeah, and I also heard that he could be the Amazon Prime guy on the Thursday Night Voice. So, yeah, I'm intrigued by I don't know. The shuffle's going to be weird to me because we could see some different pairings we've never seen. I heard Drew Brees and Tom Brady are potential guys that could go and replace Aikman at Fox if everything does go down. So,
I plead the fifth. Next.
All right. All right. Those were our top stories here on the podcast today. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I think and Jay's probably going to cover his ears, but I think you know what time it is. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for...
And now it's time for Cash or Trash.
All right, time for Cash or Trash. And we start this one off, ladies and gentlemen, with this one right here. I know, Jay, this one hurts Jay just a smidget. Ali Marpet has decided to retire. And you hate to see it, a guy at 29 years old, but Jay, the question at hand is cash or trash. Is the NFL in trouble when you keep seeing your young guns? I mean, 29 is still young in the NFL leaving the game.
I don't think they're in trouble. I just think that the guys are starting to realize that, it's a kid's game, but the wear and tear on your body is real.
Right.
And, Marpet had injuries. He made his first Pro Bowl. He won a ring. I think he had his list complete. So it's time, he's still young. Maybe he's going to go start a family and, he's going to be good with the money. I don't think they're in trouble. I just think there's some people that prioritize life different than other people.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, to an extent, I'm only going to cash it. I'm going to cash it because I feel like if you're the NFL, you don't want a long-term thing of like players not, the concussion thing is already one thing where it's like, oh man, I got to leave. People have been leaving the game. Chris Borland, we talked about him earlier, leaving the game because of the injuries and not wanting to be hurt long-term. I don't know this is going to sound bad, but with the generation that we're in now, things are just different. And when you start to look and say, well,
I don't win. Where's my participation trophy?
You start looking at your long term, and not saying that they're that tough, but I think this generation will say, well, I can make a couple of million and then I'm out. They don't think at old school ways when there's like, I want to play 13 to 15 years and I don't care about destroying my body. This generation is a little bit more conscious when it comes to that.
It's not about that. It's this generation doesn't really think that the way that they work and perform represents who they are as a person. Because they're good as long as all their social media buddies keep liking their stuff. That gives them the dopamine to make them happy instead of knowing that they're a good person.
Rob, call it. They soft as toilet tissue.
Amen, Rob. Amen.
And look, and that's the thing that makes me a little bit worried. I was saying on that.
What's up, Steven?
Steven, what's up, my man? Our man, Steven Askins, a great friend of the show. Love you, brother. Hope all is well. So, yeah, I mean, looking at that aspect, I'm sitting there like, yeah, man, I don't know. That's the only thing I would cash it on based off of that. Next one, we're going to finish. That's our NFL for the day. So our last two topics are on the NBA. We're going to shoot some hoops here. Cash or trash, ladies and gentlemen, on this one. Can Embiid and Harden win the East? Now, look, so far, so good. You know, this relationship looks like it's on a good start. Embiid's happy to have him there. I saw him high-fiving after the game. You know, Harden has been on a tear since he's gotten there. He took off the fat suit, and my man is ready to play. You look at the East. The East right now, I think the Heat are at the top. I think they're like 39-21. Right behind them are the Bulls. They're like I think they're like 38-23. I could be off on these numbers. So
I'm looking real quick.
Was. And, you know, you look at the East, it's very winnable. But there's like 6 teams in there that I think is going to be a tough road. And I feel like anybody can get through and win it.
Boston, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Philly, Chicago, and Miami are within 5 games of each other.
Right. So anything can happen. I mean, Miami's number 1 now, but that could easily be the Sixers by the end of the season, as Jay has said, with 5 games. But do you think, cash or trash, will Harden and Embiid win the East?
Trash. I still think Milwaukee is a better, well-rounded team. You know, Owen Depot's coming back from Miami. That's scary.
Yes, it is. As long as he's healthy.
Cleveland has really got something special going on there too.
Yes.
So
yes.
Now I don't think they will.
I love the young guns in Cleveland, man. Garland and Mobley. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy thing is Colin Sexton is not even like in the equation like he was when he first started. And they're playing so well. I mean, they're going to probably trade him and get like
Jarrett Allen.
Jared Allen. Wow. You know, and they got him for they got Jared Allen on a real good trade. I think it was with for Drummond, I believe.
Yeah, and they signed him to a max deal last year.
And they signed him to a max deal. And the kid is talented. He showed promise when he was in Brooklyn. I really like what I see for him. I really, really, really do. For me, I'm gonna trash it as well, only because I feel like it will either be the Bucks, the Bulls, or
your Heat. I know where you're going.
I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, I'm not trying to toot my team's own horn here. Toot. But, I mean,
I'm not trying to, but I'm going to do it anyway.
For them to be playing as well as they have, and they're just getting healthy, Jay. You know, I like they still, like you said, they don't have Oladipo back.
But you say that, and that's when.
Hey man, don't be talking like that. No. We're gonna switch.
I'm just calling reality.
Don't do it, man. Don't do it. Yes. All right, last one here on Cash or Trash before we get out of here for the day, because me and Jay, we got a lunch date. Yeah, so we're gonna go hang out in a little bit. But our last one, y'all, we thank everybody for coming in and enjoying and having a good time and participating today. Truly appreciate that. Last one. Zion Williamson, and we're going to talk about this a little bit more in depth on Legacy on Fire on Wednesday, so make sure you check that out on Wednesday. But this one right here, a lot of people, you're starting to hear the bust. You're starting to hear that he's done. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not the, you know, what happened to the guy everybody thought was the next LeBron James. You know, Cash or Trash, Jay, is Zion Williamson officially a bust?
It's a thin line, but I'm gonna go. Yeah, he's a bust. He's not doing what they thought he was gonna come in. He's putting up good numbers when he's on the floor,
right?
But the other thing is he's got he's one of those Jamarcus Russell types, 6'6", and he almost weighs 300. He should be an offensive lineman. You know, he's got to be careful. You know. Shaq will say, you know, I had to be careful about my weight because of my legs.
Right.
And why is he out? Oh, leg issues. I think he's a bust. I mean, you put him with DeAndre Ayton, Josh Jackson, any of those, bust.
All right, so this is my thing on it. I'm going to trash it. Hold on, wait a minute. I got to put before I go that Steven, this is a good one. First of all, Rob says he's not a bust. He's like he thinks that he's still top. He still has a chance. He also says, remember Harden in San Antonio. I will never forget Harden in San Antonio because he had his chance. Oh, I'm glad you brought that one up, Rob, because that he had his chance in that one. That's why it always makes me a little bit worried about Harden. And then as Steven says, that is what I was telling someone the other day, that he's a Jamarcus Russell of basketball. But I will say this, though. This is my thing on Zion. Zion comes into the league. He doesn't play with the first half of his rookie season due to injury. And then he comes in that second half and he kills it. Okay. Ja Morant, who I believe ended up winning Rookie of the Year, destroys it for the whole year. All right. Does a great job the whole year. Now we sit here in year 2. He has not played at all. The first, you hear all the rumors of his weight issues. He couldn't get in weight. We've seen all the memes. We've seen all the pictures. We've seen the people of New Orleans. They mean, man.
They're bad.
New Orleans is mean. And look, don't make the city of New Orleans mad because they are a different type of mean. But you see all of that. And the only reason why I'm trashing it is because I feel like
there's still time.
Huh?
There's still time, is what
there's
you're
still
saying.
time. And but the reason why people are screaming bust now is because of Ja Morant. Let's just be honest with you. Ja Morant is killing the game right now.
He is a superstar.
And he's in MVP consideration. And so when you see the number 2 pick of the draft out here killing it, and everybody was like, man, you could have been number 1. It's like Durant. You know, Durant was number 2.
And Greg Oden.
Yeah, and then everybody's like, yo, bro, you could have had, Portland could have had Durant. It's that thing that's going on right now. I don't want to give him bust status just yet, but things will have to change soon. But he's already become, I don't want to say a diva, but in some people's eyes, he doesn't want to play right now because it's only his second year in the league now. He doesn't want to play right now because of the GM. He said he's not a fan of the GM. You've only been in the league 2 years and you've only played a half a season. You don't have the right to make demands.
Exactly.
But that is today's day and age athlete. If things not going well, bump being loyal. And I don't blame him for it to an extent, but whatever, but my thing is he's got to prove it on the floor more than me, Jay. He's got to prove it on the floor.
But this is where it just pisses me off because you're going to be a diva. You're getting paid millions of dollars to play a kid's game.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be a bitch about it? I'd cut him.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. You got to, if you're going to trade him, though, you got to get your word for it. And you know what I think he's going to pose it for? I think he wants to be in New York. I think he wants to be in a big market situation. I think he thought he was going to New York. When he got drafted, everybody was like, yeah, it's all lining up. And the Knicks just got the worst luck when it comes to the draft. They couldn't win the lottery ball. If somebody said, look, you get all the balls, we're going to leave one ball in there, and you're going to get all the rest of the balls. They still would somehow lose that first pick. I just don't know why it would be that way, but I feel like they would still lose the pick.
I just, like I said, I have no I lose respect for a person that has the ability to, make ungodly amounts of money, live comfortably, and you're still a stubborn brat.
Yeah, that's my thing. I feel like, and I agree with Robin, it's not his kid's game. It's about the money. The owners make the money, and should the players. I have no problem with the players' money, but I also feel like in this scenario, you got to show it on the floor. And we only got 40 games. I don't know the number, but we got like maybe half the season in, and we don't have enough on Zion for me in the NBA.
You got to prove you're worth that money, though, Rob.
That's my thing. That's my thing. Now this one right here. Now before we roll, because this one's an interesting one, Rob. John said Ja Morant will be trash in New Orleans. It's all about location. I agree, but don't agree. I think Memphis was the perfect spot for him because let's look at Memphis over the last 20 years. Memphis has always been a really good basketball city. They don't get a lot of praise, but they've always been able to find really good, I won't say no name coaches. You may not know the coach, but they do really well there. Like Coach Taylor is there now. He's done a really good job with that team out there. He's done a really good job with that team out there. And if you look at the team as a whole, you're like, who are these players? But they got a really great coach. and Marant is just a piece of the puzzle. But I wouldn't say that because they got Ingram there. He may be bad there because of the coaching there. But I mean, John Morant's still a really good player. So as like I said, I split that one with you, Rob.
It's 50-50. I agree with Darrell. But Jay, do you remember the Grizzlies' first pick? Big Country.
Big Country, Brian Reeves, baby. Oklahoma State. Hey, look, before we get out of here on that, what I love about Brian Reeves, remember, like, Oklahoma State made the Final Four that year, and he broke the rim during practice. I don't know why I remember that as a kid, but I remember, like, they were at the Final Four practice, and he broke the rim at the practice facility. And I was like, I remember as a kid thinking he just didn't feel like practicing. That's just what that was. I don't feel like practice. I can play in the game. And then they lost the next game. So.
Aren't they? Hey, coincidence. Him and Zion built the same.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was about to say without the buzz cut, but, you know, the fade is kind of like the black people's buzz cut. So, you know, and it's kind of like the same thing. But, you know, anyway.
Hindsight's 20/20. Time will tell who's right and who's wrong.
That is true. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it. This has been the Legacy Maker Sports Podcast, episode 291 here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network. Me and Jay will be back here in the next week or so to bring you some more, give you some NFL, free agency updates. We'll give you another mock we'll probably wait until Monday do another mock because, you know, unless things change dramatically and some trades happen. But we'll be giving you some mocks here over the week. So just be on the lookout for that. Legacy on Fire returns this week. We are excited about that. Should be a good one on
Peace out, Steven.
Once again, everybody, thank you all for tuning in. Truly appreciate y'all for rocking with us for another one. Y'all have a great day. Y'all be safe out there. And
God bless.
We'll see y'all next time. Peace.